I think that I went to Paxi right after that. Yes, because I flew out of Corfu. So I went to Paxi, or Paxos, and Antipaxos, a tiny island next to it. So I count that as 2 more, so that gets me to 30. Whoa. That was close. At least it wouldn't have been a full facial frontal hit. Yassas, Kalispera, good afternoon. This is the lovely island of Spetses. Today is June 15th. It is currently 84 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 29 degrees Celsius. Many of you will know that I have a mountain bike that I bought in Athens a few days ago, and then I took it on the ferry to Hydra Island, and then day before yesterday I came by ferry from Hydra Island to Spetses here with the bike. And so I've decided to bike around the island. It is 24 kilometers all the way around. However, I'm not bicycling. I do have a mountain bike and I am biking, but I am motorbiking around the island. I decided to go ahead and get the motorbike for today in order to have a bit more relaxing day and kind of less time pressure and stuff. Yesterday I actually took a day off from filming. During the afternoon I took my bicycle and biked up the road here a ways to a very, very nice beach, and so that kind of gave me just a little idea of how long it would take to bike around the island, which is that it really wouldn't take all that long, because it didn't take very long to get up to that beach there, which I will be showing in this video. So the motorbike was 25 euros for the day. That is $27 US. So we have the gas and the brake here on the one handle so that I can actually do this driving and filming at the same time, as long as I'm not gonna be flying along too fast. So, Spetses here is my 40th Greek island. And while I bike along here, I thought that I would tell you all of the Greek islands that I've been to as a little something to talk about while just kind of cruising along and showing a bit of the island before we get out of town here. So I'm going to start at the beginning, which is always a good place to start. 1990, my first trip abroad, solo, age of 18, flew from California, San Francisco to London, England, and then, without getting too lost in various tangents, then I ended up in Italy and took a ferry from Brindisi, Italy to Corfu Island, Greece. So Corfu is my first Greek island. From there I went to the mainland and then took another ferry to Santorini. How I ended up in Santorini is a whole story, because I didn't know that it was the most famous of the Greek islands. It was completely accidental, actually, that I ended up there, but that is a story for another time. I don't want to get too lost in telling stories about every island. So that was it for that trip. I spent a month in Greece in 1990, but only went to 2 islands, and then I spent a lot of time on the mainland, on the Peloponnese. So out there is the Peloponnese. Spetses is very, very close to the mainland, so the Peloponnese is a peninsula of southern Greece. I climbed Mount Olympus, went to Meteora, Thessaloniki, etc. on that trip, but only 2 islands. In 2009, that is when I racked up a lot of islands. So I'm just going to fly through them, and I will mention that I have a list of all the islands I keep that I've been to, but I made a point of not looking at the list before attempting to name them all, just to see how well I could do only by memory. So 2009, the first island on that trip and the 3rd overall was Anafi. Next was Naxos, so that is number 4. Number 5, Nisyros. Number 6, Aegina. Number 7, Patmos. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. So number 8, I think was Leros. And if I make any mistakes, then I will correct it in a subtitle below the video. Then Lipsi, Kos. I want to keep track of the numbers. So Leros was 8, Lipsi 9. I might already be off, but Kos 10, Nisyros 11, Rhodes 12, back to Santorini, Milos 13, and Seraphos 14. My next trip to Greece was in 2016. I started that trip once again on Santorini. Then 15, Ios. This is where I had dinner last night. A very nice beach here. I will just show it as we cruise by. Man, which island did I go to next from Ios? I think it was Antipaxi, a small little island next to Paros. So that was 16, in which case Paros was 17. Hopefully it isn't super annoying listening to the engine of this motorbike through this entire clip. Maybe I'll just end up trashing this, we'll see. Boy, it is kind of cooling down. Wasn't expecting that today, but getting some clouds. Not as good for the beach and swimming experience, but I'm sure that we will see a bit more sunshine at some point this afternoon. 15 was Ios, 16 was Antiparos, 17 was Paros, 18, man, okay. This is a tricky one. Trying to remember, I think Amorgos, 18. Astapalia, 19. There's one more, because I know that I went to 6. Oh, that's right, the 6th was Santorini. So there you go. That is it for that trip in 2016. So we're up to 19, if I have my math right. Okay, I'm going to stop filming for now, get to a place to stop and walk down to a beach, and then continue the rest of this without the motorbike noise. So down here we have a tiny, tiny little beach that I saw yesterday but didn't stop at, so I'm just going to pop down there because I'm curious to see it closer up. But it's one of those beaches that's so small, if there's anybody else, you almost feel like you're invading their privacy. A bit of a treacherous path to get down here, So I will cover next one very short trip to Greece, and the one island that I visited, which was in 2017. Actually, wait. No, that was in 2018. I don't think that I went to Greece in 2017. Winter of 2018, I went to Mykonos. So that was my first time to Mykonos. That makes it the 20th island. Spent 10 days in the main town of Mykonos, which is normally just a jam-packed, crazy tourist mania scene. But in February, nobody there. Like a few people, but basically I had the island to myself. Okay, not going to go any closer there, but you get the idea. A very lovely little beach, especially if you have it to yourself. So that says Vrelo, or Vrelos Beach, which is down there. This is where I parked my bicycle yesterday. This is the furthest that I came. I didn't realize that there was a road up there going down to the beach, but I decided to park here again in order to do the walk and talk a little bit more about the Greek islands that I've been to. One thing I want to clarify that I said in a previous video about how the names of the islands are pronounced without an S. So Paros, Amorgos, Naxos, Andros, Tinos, Tilos, etc. Now, the reason that I said that they don't pronounce it with the S in Greek is because on the ferry, they always announce in both Greek and English. So they'll make the announcements in Greek first on the ferries once you're arriving at an island, and say if you're disembarking at Paro, then get ready to disembark. And then they will announce in English, and then they will say Paros. So that was just my assumption based on having heard that over and over and over and over again. But as people clarified under my video in which I mentioned that, then it isn't that simple. It is a aspect of the Greek language that it depends on the context. So they might pronounce it with the S, they might not pronounce it with the S. It depends on like whether the island is the main subject of that sentence. Basically, it's a linguistic concept that is totally foreign to us in English because we don't have that at all. So the name changes depending on the context in which you are referencing the object, in this case the island. Apparently that is also the case with this beach because it doesn't have the extra letter. It ends with the O. And so as you can see here, Vrelo, so the E is the same as Latin, the O is the same as Latin, but the B is different. That's a V. And then the P in Latin is actually an R. And then here you have a completely different symbol for the L. So basically I was sort of half right that the names are pronounced differently in Greek, but it just depends on the context. So I looked on my phone to see how far it was from here back to the main town where I started biking from yesterday. It is 4 kilometers. I'm actually surprised that it is that much because I biked here and then went back. So that makes it 8 kilometers that I bicycled yesterday, and that is a third of the way around the island because it's 24 kilometers. And so I actually bicycled 1/3 of the way because I came here and then went back. If you go all the way around, you aren't, retracing your steps. So that really wasn't that far, considering that it was a third of the way around the island. So you could bicycle this quite easily. I mean, it would only take, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half or something like that. Okay, getting back to the islands, 2018, and my memory gets a bit fuzzy with this one. So I went to Simi Island, I can't remember if that was first or not, to visit my friend Victor from Sweden. He was teaching a yoga class for a workshop there. So Simi, we're going to call that 21, even though I might be missing something. I also went to Samos, or Samo Island, so 22, and then I returned to Santorini, Patmos and Nisyros, I think, to the best of my recollection. So won't add those as new islands. And then Carpathos, so 23, and then Crete, 24. So maybe that was it for that trip. And so I walked down here yesterday and stayed here for a while, took a swim. Absolutely perfect waters. You can see just a few people on the beach, so it isn't that crowded, but of course it is mid-June. Come back in late July, August, and I'm sure that it will be a lot more busy. You can see there is a snack bar there, but it is closed. Probably it opens up as it goes into high season. So due to the cloudy weather, not gonna jump in the water for now. Maybe I'll just go for it later, but I will wait until I get to another beach that I haven't been to before. And then my next trip to Greece was in 2019. So my main island destination for that trip was Gavdos. That is the one that I was keeping a secret just because I didn't want to help promote it. But, you know, the videos didn't get all that many views, so not really necessary. But anyways, that is number 25 is Gavdos. I returned to Crete. You have to go to Crete to get to Gavdos. And then I went back to Nisyros Island again on that trip. Man, which other islands did I go to that time? Maybe that was it. So that puts me at 25. I still have 15 islands to go. So I could see what looked like a hiking trail from the road over there. Not sure if this is going to connect to that or not, but let's check it out, because it looks like it will go to the end of the island this way. Either way, should be a fun little detour. So, they have guns in Greece apparently. Shotguns. Lovely view there of a nice looking bay. It's looking like the road goes that way and so doesn't go along there. So that looks like a really fun spot to walk along. I could be wrong. I can't quite tell if there's a road there, but we will be finding out, because I guess there's just one road going roughly along the coast. So yeah, this is a full-on trail, kind of a jeep road. All right, so as we all know, everything changed in December 2019, going into 2020 when the pandemic hit, and I wasn't able to go to Greece in 2020, but I went back in 2021. So on that trip, I went to Aegina, I think was the first island, which I'd already been to, and then Agistri, so that's number 26. And then from there, I got over to Zakynthos, 27, met my friend Ellen there, and then we went to Kefalonia together, 28, and then I went to Ithaki, or Ithaca, on my own at that point, 29. All right, this is continuing. Excellent. I believe that after that, oh, now I can't remember if this was on that same trip or my next trip later that summer, because I went to Greece twice in 2021, and by the way, I don't count that as 2 trips. I've been to Greece 10 times, but I could call it 13 if I wanted, because I went twice in 2021, 3 times in 2022, but it was like short breaks going to other places and then coming back, so I call that one trip. I think that I went to Paxi right after that. Yes, because I flew out of Corfu. So I went to Paxi, or Paxos, and Antipaxos, a tiny island next to it. So I count that as 2 more, so that gets me to 30. Whoa. That was close. At least it wouldn't have been a full facial frontal hit. It would have been really freaky if the spider was like right here and I almost like got my face right in it, but I would have just clipped it. So I've seen these spiders before. No idea what they are. I assume probably not venomous, but who knows? Not going to take my chances. Okay, can we, whoops. You did not like that. Man, that is just a big feller there. He's getting out of there. Okay, let's try to do this without getting all caught up. All right, so, oops, another spider web. We're at 31. Oh, and there we go again. Trying to give you a close-up shot without the chance of it jumping onto my camera or whatever and then dropping my camera. This is definitely turning into a bit of an adventure here. So, we're at 31. Oh man, I need to pay more attention because that's a little spider at least. Hey, 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 hey. There's another big one there. Hopefully I didn't just end up with a big spider on me. I don't think so. So, I then went to Corfu from Paxos and caught a flight out of there to Italy. Went to the Dolomites and then Switzerland and then Germany and then went back to Greece. And I am now going to have to think hard about where I started that Greek trip. So I really had to think hard to remember where I went first on that next Greek trip in 2021. And by the way, I have my journal right here in my backpack with the list of all of the islands, so I will check it once I'm done here and see how close I got. Okay, end of the trail, more spiders, not getting the big wide open view that I was hoping for, so let's turn it around. So, I flew from Germany, I forget if it was maybe Frankfurt, to Thessaloniki. I rented a car, went to that peninsula that I can't remember now what it's called. I will put it down below there. And then drove to Pella, the birthplace of Alexander the Great, and then went to Meteora. Then I returned the car and went to Volos, where I caught a ferry to Skiathos. So that's number 32. And then Skopelos, 33, Alonnisos, 34. And that might be the end of that trip in 2021. Let's continue this at another beach or whatever else we come across next. So it looks like the road does indeed continue up and over there and not along the sea here. Here is a dirt road. The guys that rented me the motorbike asked me not to bike down any dirt roads. Don't want to take my chances anyways, considering I have a brand new bike there, and this does look a little treacherous. So, 2022. I started, once again, on Nisyros, which I'd been to a couple times before. Then went to Tilos. Not Tinos, that's another island, but Tilos. Really nice little island. And then Kalymnos. So, Tilos makes 35, Kalymnos makes 36, and then Ikaria makes 37. I then flew out, went to Bulgaria and Israel, and then caught a flight from Israel direct to Santorini, basically just to get back to the Greek islands. A lot of the times that I've been to Santorini were kind of like accidental or various other reasons. Once was a ferry was broken going from Rhodes. Did I mention Rhodes already? I think that I did. Back in 2009, our ferry from Rhodes to Milos was broken and didn't show up. Instead, we had to take a ferry to Santorini to change there and had to wait a day. So I only had maybe 2 nights there on Santorini, but that was a momentous Santorini trip, despite being only 1 full day, because that is when I discovered the secret church that I'm sure that many of you know about, and also took some of my favorite photos. So I flew to Santorini intending to go to some lesser known islands that I hadn't been to yet, including Mykonos. But there was 0 accommodation, like literally nothing on booking.com. And so instead I went to Ios again, and then went to Paros again and visited my friends Nicole and Christos, and then to Mykonos again to catch a flight. And then I came back end of the summer just to go to Sifnos, so that is 38. Wow, this is actually working out. I think that I might have gotten all of the islands. So that was a very short trip to Greece, just Athens and Sifnos, and then flew back to the United States. So that's 38. Came back just a week ago, flew into Athens, 2 nights there, got the bicycle, then went to Hydra, number 39, and then ferry Hydra to Spetses, number 40. So I did it. Let's check the list and make sure that I got like the order right. Some nice looking waters, if only we had some sunshine to take a swim. So this looks like a really fun walk to go along there. Heck, let's do it. At least part of the way. Love hearing the sounds of the cicadas and the lapping of the water, not even waves. So I am feeling raindrops. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I checked the weather forecast yesterday and it showed no rain, basically no clouds. So that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And so here's the full list in my journal. Let's see if I got everything in order. So the number next to the name of the island indicates how many times I've been to that island. So Corfu first, been there 3 times. Santorini second, been there 5 times. Anafi third, twice. Naxos, Syros, Aegina twice. Patmos twice. Lipsi, Leros, Kos 3 times. Nisyros 3 times. Rhodes, Milos, Seraphos, Eos twice. Antiparos, Paros twice. Amorgos, Astapelia, Mykonos 3 times. Samos, Simi, Carpathos, Crete twice. Gavdos, Agistri, Zakynthos, Kefalonia, Ithaki, Paxi, Antipaxi, Skiathos, Skopelos, Alonnisos, Tilos, Kalymnos, Ikaria, Sifnos, Hydra, Spetses. So yeah, I guess I got them all right. And then here are all of the countries I visited. I won't read that off, but it continues on the next page. Same deal, number of times listed next to the country. Greece, 10. I see a little tiny church out there. Let's hike to it.